Because that's what I do now, Ebony.
Me too. Me too. Talking about. But real quick about this whole vaccine thing though, I think my mom is also getting one. And I don't know if she's more, well, I would think so because she's about to turn 60 and she's considered now, she's so happy about it, you guys. She's considered a senior citizen.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm just like, okay. She's like, girl, I get this for free. I get to eat in for a discounted rate. I get this for discount. And I'm just like, but they still don't have parking spots for you guys.
Leave her alone.
Sorry. But to whoever is joining in, you ladies, I do have you tagged on this. It is public if you want to share it as we, have it going. But we already got 4 people on already. That's fast. I guess they were waiting. My bad. That's on me. I was a little late to the party. But oh, is that me talking?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was your other end.
Yeah.
But before, like I said, before we get completely into all of this, everyone that again is watching, thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Mental Mondays. My face is going to be on this screen as well as to the left of me because I have like 20 different screens going on here. But thank y'all for tuning in. We have Leslie Godfrey with us. And there's a lot to uncover with this conversation today. Because I know a lot of y'all saw, oh snap, there's this girl on a pole. That's not the conversation at all that we're having. It's not about a pole. It's more about fitness, y'all. Let's get your minds right, all right? So nonetheless, thank you, Leslie, for being with Talaya and I. We really appreciate it. And, just want to ask you, like, how are you? How you feeling? How was your day today? It's Monday, start of the week.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and inviting me to come and join your space. I kind of like Mondays, honestly. Yeah, I teach a 8:30 in the morning college music appreciation class. So I teach at a couple of different, I teach at a community college in Newark and a university in Jersey City. And I've been at both for about 8 years now. So I've been doing that for a while. So I teach like music appreciation and music history and like music entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So I taught an appreciation class this morning from my living room. From this very seat,
comfort
where I spend all my time now. And then I taught some piano lessons from here. I taught some oboe lessons from here. And that has pretty much been my day. And I made sushi.
From there. Wait, not your living room, I'm sure.
I moved over to the counter, which is 10 feet away. And then I came back to my chair here.
What kind of sushi was it?
I put chicken in it.
Wait, I don't even know how to make sushi. So
I don't either. So
I love it.
Right. To me, I'm just like, that sounds great though.
I put whatever I had in the fridge. So I had leftover shredded chicken. I put in carrots. I put arugula. Cabbage.
That works.
And I rolled it up with my sushi rice and sliced it up and yeah.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to try some of that. I would have had to throw a mango or something into that though.
I would have. I didn't have any.
She said whatever was in her fridge.
It was whatever was here, and I had limited resources.
Sorry, I'm just being picky. Don't mind. Some sweet. But T, how was your day?
It was okay. Very tired. So, but overall, like it was okay. I had some up and downs, but I'm gonna keep winging it.
Yes.
Keep going.
Wing it. I'm glad you're here. Tired and all. I'm glad you're here. My day was a Monday. It felt like a Monday. Usually Mondays are cool for me, but it's just the transition, man, to get right back for the kids with school and all that stuff. And then I'll be honest, I kind of was tired too. My hives started kicking in and I haven't been having hives in quite some time. So I don't know where that came from, but y'all, I was just walking around the house just like, oh my God, like, but I'm good now. I have a feeling once I end all of this, I'm probably going to text Talaya and be like, they're back, and send her a picture. But other than that, my day was cool too. I mean, nonetheless, I gotta get like you though, Leslie, and actually enjoy Mondays. I don't know how you do it, but are you a morning person?
I'm not, but I also work 7 days a week, so it doesn't even matter what day of the week it is.
What?
Like
All
I have no concept of like what day it is, what month it is, like
wow.
yeah, it's very it's this last year has been really like disorienting for me because
Yeah.
I used to have my schedule like I would drive to Newark. Then I would go rock climbing. Then I would drive back to Woodbridge and like teach my lessons. Then I would go to the fitness studio and do that and then come home. And then it'd be like Tuesdays I would go to Jersey City and I had like different schedules. And so it's just really difficult for me
Now
to
you're
keep
like,
track of
Yeah.
days. It's bizarre. And I teach a college class on Saturdays now at 8:30 in the morning, and I've never had a college class on a Saturday, so like that's messing with my head. So I just Mondays are just another day. It doesn't make a difference.
No, I get, but how is that playing on your mental right now, though, knowing that you've changed your schedule from one way to now, like almost feeling like you're confined to just.
Yeah, it's been a little challenging. So I do have a commercial. So okay, so if you guys don't know me, if you're watching, I'm primarily a musician, right? So I'm a
Yes.
professional oboist and I have a studio where I teach piano and I teach oboe lessons. So I have a commercial space in Woodbridge where I live. And I still have this space, but I haven't really been in it for about a year now, right? So my stuff is still there. I still go periodically to like play my pianos because I get a little sad. So I still go to the space and just make sure that everything is okay. But I haven't physically taught in it in a year. Um, so it's been, again, like just a little
Yeah.
weird mentally. But I don't hate not driving to Newark and Jersey
I
City all the time.
yeah,
listen.
During rush hour, like I have
yeah.
so much more time because I don't
Mhm,
drive places anymore.
Mhm.
mhm. And it sounds like it's opened up your time to doing other things.
It has. I had to make there were a lot of changes that happened. So I was really lucky in that all of my private students, when I decided, I think it was in March, when I decided that I was going to switch to virtual,
Hmm.
I was really lucky. I have a lot of friends who are private music teachers and they lost a lot of students when they made the switch to virtual. I was super fortunate. I have more students now than I actually started the
Mhm.
pandemic with.
That's
Wow.
So
good.
I have one in Florida, I have one in Vermont. So
That's
like I've
good.
crossed state
Girl,
lines. Yeah. So
that's
I've
awesome.
yeah, so it's been awesome. Like I've been really fortunate in that my studio has grown, which has not really been the norm for
Right,
musicians with
right.
this
Yeah.
pandemic. And I was really lucky that I just sent a text out to all my families and I said, "Oh, hello. I'm going to be on Zoom. So here's a link for your kid to click on and I'll see them at their regular lesson time." And everybody was like, "Okay."
Okay. Yeah, because it's trying to still keep their child in tune, and
Right.
it's like a sense of normalcy, even though
Mm-hmm.
the
And
normal
that
time
was a
changed.
very large part of it. And I said in my message, I said, I would really recommend, and like I've had some of these kids for 7
Yeah.
years. So I get really attached, right?
Yeah.
It like breaks my heart every time somebody graduates. So I have these really wonderful relationships with all of my students and their families. And so I said it would probably be a really good thing in their lives now that school is going virtual and they can't see their friends. And if you can't see your friends, you might as well
Yeah.
see your piano teacher.
Yeah.
um but it did give them kind of a sense of normalcy, like you said, Talaya, and it gave them like a weekly like milestone that they had to work for.
Hmm.
So it wasn't like you were just, because everything music related is generally performance driven. So
Right.
you work and you work and you work and you practice because you have a concert, right? So
Hmm.
when there are no recitals and there are no performances and there are no band concerts in school, I think it's really difficult for especially younger kids to kind of keep going, right? Because what's the point? They're not going to perform. So I think mentally it's been really difficult for for people of all ages.
Yeah.
But I've been really fortunate that, and it was kind of funny because I kind of sold the families on like it's a sense of normalcy for your
Mhm.
kids, but just as much it's been giving me a sense of normalcy too,
Yeah.
because I was able to kind of keep that schedule. Like I honestly think that I would have lost it several times more than I
Yeah.
have if I wasn't still teaching
Yeah. I was
my
going to
private
ask that
students.
question. Like, how do you think you would have? I mean, I know you can't.
Not well. I do
Yeah.
not think I would have been doing well.
Yeah. And then, do you see yourself in the near future starting to go back into the like your studio?
I
Or
feel like probably by fall, I'm hoping to be back. But again, now I have students in other states. And I
yeah.
have some
That's
who
really
I,
awesome, though.
it's been amazing. And I have some students who honestly, I think they like virtual lessons better.
Yeah.
You know, some people just learn better,
Mhm.
Yeah.
not in person, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm
Less
definitely,
pressure on them, probably.
yeah. And I'm definitely going to keep virtual lessons like as an option. So if people want to stay virtual, they can.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody has a cold, because I really think things are going to shift. Like I think about how many things I've shown up to in the past sick, and I feel horrible about it.
Yeah.
But it was just always the culture. Like you booked this gig. Like I'm sure Ebony, right? You book a
Yep.
gig, so you
Yep.
go to the gig no matter
Mm-hmm.
how you feel. No one cares how you feel. They care about the product that they hired you to deliver, right?
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to affect like the arts and the performing arts going forward. But now at least like if somebody has a cold, they can just Zoom their lesson,
Yes.
you know? So
There's
I'm
no
not
excuse, really.
right. So like I think for me, again, I've been really fortunate in that some really good things have come out of this. Like I had to learn how to do virtual lessons,
Mm.
which was probably something I should have learned,
Was
but I didn't
it
really
really
have any.
challenging for you, though?
It wasn't too bad. Again, like I had some some students that I've known for a really long time and they were kind of my guinea pigs.
Okay.
So it was like, oh hey, can you
Can we
join this?
try and
Can you join this Zoom meeting so I can make sure that I can try it out on someone that can help me instead of like trying it out on a 6-year-old who's not going to be able to help me.
Yeah.
So that's been fine. And then for the college classes, all of that has been virtual. Um, Also, I think we just never went back after spring break last year.
Wow.
Mm.
I don't know. I just it's so crazy because like you were saying, you wonder how the future is going to be like with performing arts or just any kind of arts in this world now because they still have museums open, but you can't really engage in that all like you used to when you would be around something and mingling with different people. But like with your scenario, it's kind of like, did I'm not trying to get too personal in your like finances or anything, but did you make out better, do you feel, knowing that now you have outside, out of state students than you did prior to?
I
Like,
mean, I think I've again been really lucky in that I was teaching a lot, right? Like I've really scaled back the number of gigs that I've been taking over the last years. So I play with a couple opera companies like regularly. So I think the musicians who really have struggled the most during the pandemic are the people who were primarily performers,
mm,
right? Because
Okay.
okay,
all of their stuff got canceled.
Okay.
They're gig workers, they're
Yeah.
independent contractors.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So you don't have a contract, you don't have a salary, you don't have health insurance, right?
right,
Um,
right,
and so I think the money, like the extra money that I've picked up from new students pretty much cancels out the money that I lost from gigs that got
gotcha.
canceled. So
Okay,
again, like I was really lucky that I had the option to go virtual.
that's great to hear
Yeah.
though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the positive out of this whole, what have I been calling it, panini?
But
The panini.
panorama,
Panoramic.
movie, like she was calling it all different names. It's like
Panama.
pandemic.
You got to make a joke out of something, even though it's just like, I'm so over it. I
I
mean,
feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel now, at least.
there is, that's the springtime coming. Like, the light is the springtime coming because I'm over this winter too.
Yeah.
Like for real. But
Mhm.
I have to ask you, Leslie, because I feel like for everyone's story of how they get into the positions that they're in today, there's something that's kind of pushed them into that direction. For you, what has it been, and has it been again, a challenge? Like, what type of
Yeah.
challenges did you face?
So I think for me, like we were talking about this before, and if you're watching and you knew me in high school, I was painfully shy. Uh, like teachers used to write to my parents and be like, "She doesn't participate in class. Is she okay?" uh, I'm fine. I just didn't like to participate. But yeah, I was just painfully shy, and I think I was always very good at kind of like you know communicating through music, because that was always kind of
Mhm.
like my, that was like the thing that
Yes.
I always did, and also through like written words, but like spoken words not so much, right? So I went to college for music performance where I didn't have to do a lot of talking,
Yeah,
which
just playing.
may be why I chose that major, right? Then I went to grad school for performance, so again did not have to
Not
do a lot of speaking, right?
you smart. You
I've
smart.
made I've made very, very, conscious decisions at these points in my life. So then I graduated from graduate school with my master's degree, and I started a job at a music store, a music retail store in Woodbridge, and my boss. I thought I was going to be doing like administrative work. So I was like, oh, I could do that. That's fine. Right. So my boss says, hey, I want you to start this nonprofit, and you're going to be teaching music to senior citizens. And I was like, okay, that's okay. That's fine. I can talk to senior citizens. That is fine, right? So he goes, okay, great. So like, here's the paperwork, file for the nonprofit stuff, like start the corporation, and then go to the farmers market and start recruiting people. And I was like,
Oh, now you really got to talk.
huh,
Wait, so he didn't have people already set, like,
no, there were no people. Yeah. So every Saturday morning, it was horrible, you guys. Every Saturday morning, I would like set up my little table at the farmers market in the parking lot of the municipal building next to like the pickle guy, and I would stand there and I'd be like, "Hello, do you want to join a band?
Oh my god.
Do you want to play an instrument?" And it was horrifying, absolutely horrifying, right? So eventually, I wound up getting some lovely people from the farmers market and various other like horrible recruiting events that I did, and they were just a lovely group of people, like so nice. It was like having a band of like my mom and my grandma, like a lot of them, so it was fine. So then,
Easy to tolerate.
right? Yeah, so it was fine. I like split them into small groups because I was like, I can deal with 3 people at a time, right? 3 people I can handle. And then we did our first concert, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like talk to this audience.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I did that for a long time actually.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then the same boss was like, "Hey, so I think you should start a music school, and also you're
Mhm.
just going to separate yourself from my business." So I was like,
And do your own thing.
Yeah.
"Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what happened."
Spread
Cuz
your
I was
wings.
never in my life did I ever want to own a business. Like I never had this dream of being an entrepreneur. Like I've always been a freelance musician. So I've always been like, I've learned to network
Hmm.
when I have to, right? I don't mind it now. But like back in the day, it was like I will network if I have to, but there will be no extra like small talk.
Yeah,
Like you will get my
like the
contact
bare minimum.
information,
That's it.
and that is all. I will give you my business card,
Oh my
and we will
god.
not talk. Like we will
Wait,
not
before
chat.
you finish, did you have like really high anxiety at these moments? Like, did you maybe turn red? Did you like, shake, or like,
I
what
would
was your
just I
experience?
get real cranky, really, really,
Oh,
really cranky, right? And I've also struggled for a long time with performance anxiety, which as a performer is
Okay.
horrible, right?
hey.
Yeah.
Awful, awful performance, stage fright, horrible. It was at the point, it was so bad actually that my mom took me to the doctor when I was in high school to see if I could get beta blockers because I was so like high strung and anxious and like just unhappy before I had to perform. So it turns out I have really low blood pressure.
Ah,
So I cannot, in fact, have beta blockers. So I just
So,
eventually in college kind of got over that because I was so tired from just being
right,
anxious all the time.
right.
Like it was just more effort being upset than it would have been to just like suck it up and go do the thing, you know?
yeah. So where do you think the anxiousness came from? It had to stem from something.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was just always, and I still struggle with this. I think it was
Mhm.
always that I wanted to be the best, and
Mm.
not even like a competition with other people,
Yeah,
although
yeah,
I
With
am also
yourself.
super
yeah.
competitive, not
Yeah.
gonna lie. But it was just this fear of like, and I think this is also probably when I was younger, I like really wasn't outgoing and I didn't talk a lot because I had this fear of being judged,
Okay.
which
Mhm.
I think we all kind of struggle with, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I didn't want to say, you know, I would never volunteer to give an answer in class because I would be afraid that I was going to be wrong. And
Y-
then,
And 9 times out of 10, you probably were right.
right,
Right.
right. So I would just
Normally
say
she
it.
was,
I
T.
would
Normally
say it.
she was.
I would say it to myself in my head, and then I'd be like, "Yes, I got it right."
Yeah.
Listen, if she was doing something and it was on paper and the teacher came around, well, y'all need to look at what Leslie did because thanks.
Right. But I think I've just always had this kind of debilitating fear of being judged. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, you know, so in
Amazing to hear, though.
when we started the music school, um, I had, I think at the time, so I was like, let's see, this was 2011. So I was 10 years younger than I am now. So I was
I was about to
26,
say,
right?
don't give no age. Don't give
26.
no
I
age.
thought it was going to be a harder math equation, but it was minus 10. So I can do
I don't
that.
want to hear no age.
I feel like they could just look up our ages on Facebook, Eb, like they
Yeah.
know.
Yes, they can.
Also, I feel like everybody watching is probably the same age as us. So they know anyway. But yeah, so I was 26 and still kind of like really self-conscious about everything.
Yeah.
But I had this wonderful band of adults who, you know, I still was rehearsing with and still working with. So I think that helped me a lot. I think at the time I had like 4 oboe students who I was just teaching in my apartment living room. And so one day I was just like, oh, hey, I have a storefront now. So go there instead of my house. And then it was just kind of word of mouth and based on reputation. And we really built that school up. So over, I guess, maybe 6 years or
Mm-hmm.
so, we built it up and we built it up and we built it up. And it was myself and my husband at the time. So we co-founded and co-owned the business, and we grew it to about 200 students, probably over 200
Um,
students. We had, I think, 11 other employees besides ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we wound up moving into a bigger space. We had like I think like 2,500 square feet. We had a concert hall in the back. We had like 6 offices, I
that's
think,
dope.
teaching studios for people. And it just got to the point where um, I had a break from like my normal teaching day, like somebody canceled. And so I went out to the lobby and I saw this just lobby full of people that I had never seen before.
Mm.
And it made me so uncomfortable knowing that like this is my business. I am the owner of this business. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who their children are taking lessons from. And somebody could leave with a different kid and I wouldn't even know. And for me, like that was just I didn't want to do that anymore. That's just not who I am as a business person. You know, I really like having these close relationships with all the family because with all the families because it's important. Like it, you know, some of these kids I have them from the time that they're 5 until they graduate from high school.
Oh, yeah, it's a long
You
time.
know, I have some that are they graduated and they're in college and I still have them, you know.
Mhm.
So It's
I
like a
hate to
really
put an age back on us, but you know, those same kids that you've had up through high school, they're gonna have kids, and you're gonna end up teaching those kids.
I know, and you
That's
know
how
what?
it sounds like you love the family orient,
I do, and that's always been my goal as a teacher. And this is kind of another reason that I split off from the business, right? So I was very much like, I want people to be happy playing music. Like my goal is not necessarily to make you a super competitive musician. Like if that's your goal, yeah, I will be super hard on you. If you want to be a music major, yes, I can absolutely like push you in that direction. You know, I have a bunch of students who have become music majors, and if that's the direction you want to go, that's fine. But I think for the vast majority of younger kids who want to play, that's not necessarily the goal. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's something really lovely about just taking music lessons because you like music, or like because you want to play piano, because you want to play Coldplay songs, or like the song from Twilight or whatever, you know?
right,
So
right.
my teaching philosophy has always been, I will do my best to teach you musical things, but also make sure that you're really happy doing it. And like music shouldn't be a source of stress. It should be, if anything, like a release or a way to express yourself, right? So that was very much, I'm like the hippy dippy piano teacher. And my husband was very much like, why are you here if you're not here to be the best?
Oh.
And so, like in his office, there'd just be like yelling going on, right? And in my office, I'd be like, "So, huh, we're just gonna ignore all the yelling that's going on over there, and we're gonna play sounds that make us feel happy, and we're gonna do that." So it's been, you know, it was kind of a, we just, I think, wanted to go in different directions,
Mhm.
and I think this was very difficult as a business decision, also because as a business owner, as a small business owner, you always hear like scale your business larger, scale it larger. You want more clients, you want more customers. That means more revenue, right? Um, so I made the decision to basically this was 2016, 17. I don't know. I also have lost concept of time passing and years.
We'll just
So
blame COVID.
yeah, so one of those years, a few years ago, maybe 2000, late 2016 maybe, I made the decision that I wanted to leave that business. Like I was like, this is just not, I'm really unhappy, and I think I'm starting to take it out on my students, and I don't ever want to like be lashing out at these kids that have done nothing wrong. It's just like my own stress like coming out in like weird ways, right? So I made the decision to leave. So I basically just told all my students, "Oh, hey, I got a new store. So next week, go down the street."
Oh my gosh.
Mhm. Yeah,
See,
and
that's what you gotta do.
right. And around the same time, I also made the decision that I wasn't happy in my personal life either. So we actually wound up separating and then eventually getting a divorce. I think it also would have been super weird to like
To have the
have
same,
separate
yeah,
businesses. Like it would have been weird, right?
yeah.
So it was a horrible decision to make. And he's also a professional musician. We teach at a university together. So it's been
Oh wow.
not a lot of separation.
Because
Uh,
you're still up under each other in some
yeah,
way.
we
You're in the same department in so
yeah,
many
we
ways.
run in the same circles. Like we both play woodwind instruments, you know. So
Yeah.
it's been pretty civil, because we're both professionals
Right,
and can
right. You can keep
coexist.
cordial.
Yeah, you know, like musician, you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So when I moved to that new studio space by myself, that's where Happy Bamboo came from, and we kind of started it. Well, we kind of started calling it that, like as a joke, right?
Oh,
Because
because I was gonna ask you about it. I was gonna ask where the name came from. Were you
yeah,
really happy one day, like, gonna get
no, it was
happy?
kind of like oh, like, you know, I've left this really like competitive environment that is not making me happy. And so I moved into this new space and I painted it yellow, and the kids would come in and they'd be like, "It's so happy here."
Aw.
And then like somehow Happy Bamboo happened, and then that just stuck. Um and
No, I
then
love the name.
right, we
You
have
show your
hoodies
logo
now.
again? Can you show
Oh,
them?
yeah. Are you able to
Yes,
show your logo? It's really
maybe.
cute,
It
you
was
guys.
really
Listen,
good.
When she
I
found
will
out, we were like, "Oh."
Yeah.
I will say I've also gotten real good at logo design.
Well,
Stop
we
video.
might have to.
There it is.
Oh, look at
Yeah, I really like it.
that! I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so that's, that's been, I think, a really healthy business for me to have. And then,
Mhm.
as you may have seen in Ebony's preview of this, I spent a couple years
Tell
working
them about it.
I spent a couple years working at a pole fitness studio in Woodbridge, right?
Whole fitness,
Pole
y'all.
fitness.
Whole
It is
fitness.
no joke. If you get a chance to take a pole fitness class, I highly
Ebony's
recommend
shrinking.
it.
Why are you shrinking like this?
It's my cranberry juice. Don't worry. It's
Highly
cranberry juice.
recommend. So I was working at a studio for a couple years, and then I haven't been there in about a year. So I left right around like the pandemic, the
Mm.
Panorama Panini pandemic
Right, she
time,
falls right in line. See,
right?
He's
that's why
good.
you were here, Liz.
Yeah. So because and I mean I had been teaching like 5 classes a week at the studio, so it was a lot of like physical activity,
Yeah.
right?
Wait, right? You were teaching 5 classes of pole?
I actually did not teach any pole classes.
Oh.
Yeah, I taught supplemental
Cause
classes.
she ready to ask you, can she get to
I can hook you up though. There are many people lovely people who do private lessons, they do parties, they travel, they'll come to you and set their
Okay.
whole thing up.
I'd like to see you guys my poll.
Yes, I need something new.
But I will say being at that studio did wonders for like my body positivity, for like my
Mm.
whole mental health. It was so good for me to meet all these people. And I think this played very largely into like my whole like mental health journey.
Mhm.
So I've always been a musician, and generally the only people that I meet are musicians because I'm not, I
Mhm.
mean, even now I'm like not a big socializer unless
Yeah.
it's people that I already know, right? And how do you meet people if you only go to the things with the people that you know,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
True.
So pretty much all the people that I knew were musicians. And so being at this pole studio was really the first time that like I met people that weren't musicians.
You were real happy.
It like opened up this whole new world of like
Mhm.
friendships for me, right? So
Yep.
so there's
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Did you go alone the first time when you went? Like you took that step by
so
yourself, or someone else kind of was
okay,
like, "No,
so
try this out."
funny story. So with my music school, right? We after like a year we expanded and we rented a place upstairs in the same building, right?
Okay.
So one day I was at my studio and this girl comes and like knocks on the door, and she was like, "Hey, I want to start a pole fitness studio. Do you know how I can start a business here?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, let me give you all my contacts that I used when I started my business,"
Mhm.
right? So she wound up opening her studio upstairs across the hall from our second location, like our additional
Mhm.
annex area. And I was actually like her first pole student. In the beginning, she only did pole,
Oh.
right? So this was like 2012, maybe. This is a long time ago,
Oh.
right? So I was her first pole student. And after a while, she
The
actually
way she
asked
says it, pole
That's
student.
a
pole
pole
student.
Y'all
student.
want to see my poll again?
Because Eb, I have to study things. I have to analyze. You know how my brain works, right?
Yes.
There's a very analytical way that I go about things. So she actually asked me really early on if I wanted to teach, if I wanted to train and teach some classes for her. And at the time, pole fitness wasn't really, so there are many different levels to pole, right?
Mhm.
There's like the people that do it purely for fitness. There are girls who work in clubs who want to like refine their technique. There are people who
Mhm.
want to go just to feel sexy. There are people like there are many
Mhm.
different like buckets that people kind of draw from. I'm pretty securely in like the fitness bucket because dancing is not my thing. Like I literally just want to learn tricks. Like if there's choreography, I'm not going to be able to do it anyway. So like I really just want to like lift myself up and like do pull-ups. Like that's what I want.
Oh
She
my
said, pull up
gosh.
nuts.
Yo, Talaya, we need to start a mom's pole club or something.
Yes.
Do
You
it.
know that we always got these.
Leslie, you're getting called in to teach us.
I will send you someone more qualified than me, because if it's me, we're just gonna do pull-ups and conditioning. But at the time, right? Like so 10 years ago, pole fitness and pole dancing wasn't really as widely accepted as it
Yeah.
is now, right? I think the stigma has really been like kind of lifted,
Yeah.
and people aren't as judgmental about it, because like 10 years ago people were mad judgmental about it.
Yeah.
Extremely judgmental.
Right. And so we were maybe engaged. I don't know. So my ex at the time, who was not my ex, he was like, I don't think that this is a good idea. And I was kind of like, And he was like, people are not going to want to send their kid to you for piano lessons if they also know that you do this other thing. And I was kind of like, all right, like we own
Oh,
this business
man.
together. So like, fine. It was like a whole thing. Right. So years and years go by. I kind of stopped going because it got like a little weird with him. So yeah, whatever. So years go by, right? And I get divorced, and I do much better when I'm active. So
Yeah.
as soon as I have downtime, I am a disaster.
Yeah.
So this is why I do so many things.
Yeah.
Gotta stay
Um,
active.
right.
Yeah.
So I have to stay active. I've learned over the past few years that like for me, I feel better when I'm physically active also.
Okay.
And like in any form, right? So I try to like hike or like go for a bike ride, or like thank goodness I have a dog, because sometimes she forces me to get
Yeah.
out and do things, right? I got really into rock climbing. And so the summer that I got divorced, I was like, I moved into this house and I was like super lonely and just like very sad about everything. So I was
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what? I'm going to do a bunch of things that I never did, because people didn't want to, all my musician friends didn't want to do them with me.
Hmm.
So I signed up for a women's only rock climbing class.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's how I got into climbing. And it was me and one other woman in the class. And we are still climbing partners years
Wow.
later. So we
That's
climb
so
together
cool.
almost every week. And that same summer, I did a fitness certification in something called Pound Fit, which is basically like you have these little weighted drumsticks, and
I
you
want
it's
to
like
ask you about that.
that one's real fun. So it's a lot
That
of
looks
squats.
great.
It's like
Weighted drumsticks.
squats, and you're just smashing drumsticks into the ground. It's
Oh,
very
I love that.
cathartic.
Right. Like to let out anger.
So
Yeah.
you're hitting things, but you're also doing a lot of squats. So you end up really sore the next day. And it's great cardio. It's a wonderful outlet. So I was like, okay, it's like music, but also fitness. So I feel like I could do this.
Hmm.
Because again, I am the queen of second guessing myself.
So this is a class that you also ran,
So
or
that was the very first class that was my first like fitness class that I taught. And so that summer after I got certified, I called the owner of the pole studio, and we hadn't really talked in a few years. And so I called her and I was like, hey, so I got divorced and also I got certified in this fitness thing, and do you want to offer it at your studio?
Hmm.
And so she was like, okay. So I started working there, and then I started teaching bar classes, and then I started teaching spin cycle
Mhm.
classes, and then there was another class. It was a bungee class. So you're hooked
Mm.
up to like it looks like a
Oh
rock climbing harness, and
yeah.
you're hanging from a bungee cord from the ceiling, and you basically fling yourself around and like do push-ups. Another my other
Now,
favorite.
is that really safe?
It is. It is. I promise you.
Leia's struggling now.
Everything was safe. Um, I was voted most accident prone
Okay.
in high school, and I am still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember her walking around with those crutches one year.
Disaster.
I felt like you had those crutches for like over 2 years.
Forever. I just know walking disaster. A quiet, silent disaster.
Like,
Uh,
girl, you sure enough played the hell out of them instruments. Look, I was in orchestra. Let me tell this quick story. I was in orchestra. This girl comes from band. to come over and play. I think it was either the bass and the cello. She probably played it at the same damn time. I'm in here like, how are you able to like hold both of these and just use both of the strings?
Multitasking.
Like, this is great. I'm gonna sit with that girl over there because she knows what she's doing.
You know what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was at the Pole Studio for a couple years, and I'm still super close with a bunch of the girls that I worked with there. So they've been like, we have a group chat, and they've been, I think we've all been very good for each other's mental health.
Yeah.
It's a very diverse group, right? So it's there's me, there's an IT specialist, there's a therapist, there's a lawyer, and there's a realtor.
Oh, I love diverse. Oh, I love it.
Right?
I love that.
From very, very different walks of life, but like the five of us get along really well, and we hang out, not now, but pre-pandemic, and so we talk, we have Zoom meetings once in a while. So I think that's been very good. And I think having a diverse group of friends is really important because you get a little bit more unbiased opinions.
Yeah.
From people.
Yeah.
So you're drawing from like a larger pool.
A larger pool instead of just a meat. Yeah, yeah.
Look at you and be like, "Oh, girl, that's nothing."
Yeah.
Right. But then out of working at the pole studio, when the pandemic hit, I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I love it here, but it's really taking up a lot of my time because I'm teaching so many classes. And so I was kind of like, I really want to find a way to like still be active, to force myself to be active, because that's the other thing with me. I have to like force myself to do it sometimes. But also free up time to like really keep working on my own business, because I don't want to have to tell private students that, oh, I can't take you because I don't have time because I have to teach a spin class. Like,
Yeah.
So a few years ago, I had made a production company because I write children's songs, and I like to be anonymous, and I like to have things not underneath my name, right? Yeah. So
I heard a few of those songs and shit. Was it a ukulele you had?
Yeah. So I had like a whole bunch of like little side hustles going, and I was like, oh, I should probably really just like put them all under one umbrella. And I feel like it would be easier to like keep track of things, right?
It's History Month, by the way.
Yes, it is Women's. I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because you sound like me.
Yes.
Somebody was asking me today, like, what do you do? And I'm like, and I'm just like, it kind of sounds like I don't know what I want to do.
I know, it sounds like
there's so much going on.
Just do it all. Forget it all.
And it's like, I swear, like, I'm good at the things I do. It just sounds like I'm not good at any of them because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Right.
But so you laid it out in the beginning, letting everyone know you're very competitive just with yourself. You like to be the best. So it's already set in stone that we know you having all of these things means that you are going to make sure it's at its top notch.
Top notch, yes.
Wait, the other day, right? Michael calls me and he was like, oh, how's your day? And I was like, oh, it was good. I made pasta. And he goes, did you make pasta like a normal person? Or did you like make the pasta from scratch? And I was like, huh. I didn't have time to make it from scratch, so I made it from a box, but hilarious that you would even think to ask me that question.
So look, even today, so I wanted some Alfredo. So my girlfriend, so first I was looking for the jars, and then I was on the phone with one of my girlfriends, and she was like, well, just make it from scratch. And I'm just like, wow. So I had to go to 3 different stores because they didn't have like the heavy cream and all that. So I finally found it. But yeah, I made it from scratch, so I understand you.
So I'm coming over tomorrow to get some, is what you said.
You better hurry up.
This call is done.
You better hurry up because
over this pandemic, I've had days where I'm like, I really want a sandwich, but I don't have bread.
Panini.
Let me just bake a loaf of bread instead of going to the store.
Just going to the store.
Because you already got the ingredients for that.
I do. So I will literally bake a loaf of bread instead of getting in my car and driving to the store.
Really?
But that's dope because she's saving though. If you think about it, she's utilizing what she already has.
Girl, you got the patience though, because
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here. Because if you're doing that self-rising dough thing, I'd have been watching this thing for days. Like,
No, girl, I have a bread machine.
Uh,
Put your stuff in, it does all the things for you. Yeah.
wait a minute, I need to get into this. Like a bread machine.
I didn't know they had bread
You
machines.
can make
cook
pizza
more.
dough. I make pizza dough like quite often from
See, now
scratch.
that I can imagine. That I can imagine. It's
Yeah.
just the loaf itself. I'm just like, wait, they got a
Yeah.
whole machine?
Yeah, it comes out, and it's
Girl.
all the same machine. You can make like many different kinds of
Well,
things.
I know I need to come to you for the sushi and the bread. T, I'm coming to you for that Alfredo. I can put all this together and have a whole meal.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just put a little garlic and butter on my bread.
That's right. And then she's gonna say she made it all herself.
Yeah.
Ebony's gonna
Oh,
be
look
like,
what I
hashtag
did.
home cooked meal. But with the Talaya, like you were saying, like with all the things that you're doing, right? So what I wound up doing was I made basically an umbrella corporation,
Okay.
which hilariously is called Hey Sunshine Productions.
I love it.
Wait, I have another cute logo. Hold on.
I love it.
Yo, this is so dope. I just realized your dog has not jumped in this camera.
I know.
She's underneath the desk.
It's a good dog.
She's
Feeling
under.
shy.
So this is my
Hey, sunshine.
Oh.
right. So because it's a production company, it covers all the things.
Oh, the
So
Love it.
there's like a Hey Sunshine fitness component. So what I did to kind of allow myself to free up time for my own business, but at the same time force myself to work out, was I started an online like bar subscription site. So I upload, there's like different membership levels, and I upload a different number of tracks per membership level, and then I do full classes now too. So it's been really good for me because it's a great supplement to like my physical activity. And because it's a monthly thing, it really motivates me to like keep creating and keep moving, so it doesn't allow me to get complacent.
Yeah.
So that's been really
I'm
good for
gonna
me.
check that out. You said it's on your website, right? I know at the end of this and everything, we'll have you push it out, because I have a bar here, but I got it for the girls because of them doing ballet and everything, and obviously helping them with their all of their positions that they need to learn. But hearing that you're doing this online thing, see, there's room on the other side if you want to come over and we can do this together. This is me now putting out some type of accountability thing. I know somebody's
right.
Aren't y'all supposed to be doing bar?
But I will also tell you, like, I never danced ever, right? I did gymnastics, right? So again, I come from like the trickster background, not like the graceful dance movement, right? But I will tell you, like, I never in a million years thought that I was going to love teaching bar classes as much as I do. There's something about like the look of pain in people's eyes as they head into their, third minute of doing squat pulses that I just really enjoy.
So what she's trying to really say to you, we start this. We're gonna have that crocodile tear.
I don't want to do this no more.
But like,
I quit.
It's so effective. Like, I love it so much, and it's low impact. Like, I give modifications for stuff. You don't even need to have a bar. Like, before I had my bar, I used my kitchen counter.
Okay.
Or you can use a chair. It's mainly for balance. Like, that's really all it's for. So it's not a whole lot of like weight bearing stuff. For some of the stuff you don't even need a bar. So I've been doing that, and I love that, and it's really, again, given me a good outlet to force myself to myself accountable. And that was really good when everything was shut down, and I couldn't go to the climbing gym. I did a lot of outdoor climbing this summer, so I've been thankful for nature and like using an activity that like I can do outside.
You going climbing too, T? Are you gonna go climbing also?
I did rock climbing.
Outside?
I did rock climbing when I was away. No, it was indoor. I was by myself. I took on like a trip a couple of years ago by myself. Nice.
Yeah, I will say,
but
I love
climbing. I may think about outdoor though.
Outdoors a
I
little
think you
scared.
should.
A little scared sometimes outside.
Yeah.
But don't you have the bungee?
Okay, so there's different types of
Uh-oh.
climbing.
Never mind. T, I don't want you to do it. Never mind.
But no, there's different types. And it's gonna be
No,
in the
you.
it's gonna be in the next Olympics. So
Oh,
it
really?
was supposed to be in
Well,
this.
you're gonna sign up, Leslie.
Girl, I'm too old for this. These young climbers are like 23, like got these old bones, you know. Yeah, so it's really interesting because there's been like this renewal, or like not a renewal. There's been a lot of new interest in climbing
Yeah.
because people knew it was going to be,
Yeah.
you know, an Olympic sport. It was supposed to be in the was it last year, the 2020?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if 2020 would be,
So it
yeah.
was supposed to be in the 2020 Olympics. That was like the first year of it. So they're doing three disciplines, I think. So there's speed climbing, which is literally climbing a route as fast as you can. They look like Spider-Man.
No.
You're attached to a thing. You're attached to a rope, right?
Okay. Okay.
Then there's lead climbing.
I'm like, oh, okay.
There's lead climbing where you're also, or sport climbing where you're also attached to a rope, right?
Okay.
And then there's bouldering, which is mostly what I do, where you are not attached to anything.
Gotcha.
Girl.
You don't go that high. Like you don't go as far.
Oh, but do y'all wear now I'm really like intrigued in
You
all
wear a helmet outside.
okay.
So is it like climbing up like mountains and stuff? Like what are you climbing?
Yeah, so
up?
there's like different areas where people climb, and there's actually like a lot of websites and apps where people have kind of like mapped out routes and they grade them based on difficulty.
Wow.
And so you can actually like look at pictures on your phone while you're there and say like, okay, so I go from here to here to here to here, and then I go up.
So it's kind of like what I did in Phoenix last year. Like last January, I went to Phoenix and I went through the mountains and I climbed up, and it was some areas that was like,
Right, it's just like,
if I go that way, my daughter ain't gonna see me no more.
yeah. But yeah, like I do a lot of bouldering, so with no rope, but you only go like 12 feet up.
Okay.
Girl, that's
So
so
high.
high.
It's very high.
Only 5 foot. I mean,
I have fallen.
I can hardly climb myself, like if I chose to.
So you fell from it?
I have fallen. I fall all the time, quite often.
Oh my god!
But everything is padded. Like I have a
okay,
crash pad.
okay.
Yeah, at the gym, everything is padded. I have, if I go outside, I have a crash pad in the back of my car that I wear like a backpack.
So you were smart about it. You
Yeah.
ain't like some of these knuckleheads that'll probably just do it and be like,
yeah, no,
like me.
I go with other people.
Be like, I'm Dolo.
Yeah, but I love it because it's like a physical activity, but it's also like a mental, it's like a puzzle, right? And like indoor climbing, I really enjoy because the routes are set, so they're usually color coded.
Yeah.
But I'm super short, right? I'm 5 feet tall. So a lot of things that other people can just like reach for, I'm too short. So I have to like really think about what weird position can I get into to like make my reach 2 inches longer. So it's a really good like mental activity for me also. So
it sounds like it's very therapeutic.
Yeah. Have you ever did the indoor, Ebony? Have you never did indoor?
So back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember this place, but it was called Sportsland or
Oh yes.
I used to do it there.
I had so many birthday parties there.
Yes. All the birthday parties there. That place was lit. And you know what's kind of like it now is the place called Funzilla, which is now down the road from where Sportland used to be, because it used to be right across from Sesame.
Yeah.
So I only recall ever doing it there. I didn't do it at Funzilla yet. I might.
think there's a place in Hamilton. I think there
is another place, right?
I think there's like an actual like rock climbing gym in Hamilton.
Oh. See, you gonna go with me?
Like, yeah, I mean, I tried it. It's hard.
It's a good workout.
It's not as easy, and your body will.
You really gotta think.
Yeah, that. But the way your body has to position in your like, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all might be psyching me out of that one.
No,
I'll do the pole. I'll do the bar.
I think you should do it.
And I want to bang the drumsticks. I definitely want to do that.
That class is super fun. Yeah, I feel like your kids would love it. Yeah, the rock climbing.
Seriously.
They do a lot of the gyms. They do birthday parties. So you like, they have
They
like an
do when
instructor.
they go to Funzilla, they like doing the rock climbing there.
Okay.
But
There's
when
ninja
I ain't gonna
gyms
lie,
now
I would
too.
love to even just get my son to come in and do the
Yeah.
drumstick thing. Like, let some of that energy out, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
But all of this that you literally do or have done or continue to do, it sounds so therapeutic though, because you're literally channeling every emotion that you possibly could in whatever moment. Like you said, there's times you might feel angry when you're anxious or just nervous about something or whatever. You're channeling that again. I'm going back to the like that alone. Whew,
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what else
really
is funny too? I was talking to one of my musician friends today, and I said I think one of the things that I never really stopped to consider was that as a musician, I don't use music as like a tool to relax. It does not relax me.
Oh.
Like it does not. I do not find and I feel so horrible.
Interesting. No, that's
Yeah.
It feels
interesting
like
you
such
say
a
that.
horrible person saying this, but like I do not find music relaxing, right? Because I listen to it all day.
Mm.
Ah,
So if I'm
So
listening to
for you, it's like
something,
a stimulant. Yeah.
yeah, it's like if I'm listening to something, I'm I'm listening to it because I have to learn it, or I'm listening to it because I taught it, or
not
because
to
I'm
enjoy
teaching it
it.
now, or because yeah, it's like very or now even for my bar stuff, it's like I'm listening to it because I have to figure out if it's going to work for choreography or
Oh,
is this gonna, like is this a good speed? Is this not a good speed?
Mhm.
It's like very rare that like I'll listen to
gotcha.
music just to unwind because it does not unwind
Oh,
me.
it
Wow.
aligns us.
Yes. Yes.
Love us some music, which is
Love it.
why it's so crazy for you to say that though, because I was going to ask, is music part of your therapy? And clearly, it is
She's
not.
probably always thinking, like, even if she wants to unwind, it's like, oh, I can use that song for this. I can
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Or like, oh, that's a thing, and I could like talk about that in my appreciation class, or like maybe I could use that for bar, and it's like my brain is just like bung, 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 and it's not relaxing. Now
Yeah.
I'm more stressed than I was before
Yeah.
Before,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
started.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, listen, Leslie,
You're awesome.
you really are
No,
amazing. Like,
seriously.
Thank
really, like just to again hear what you've overcome to get to where you are now. Like, I'm happy you were able to express that story because, like I said, for me, just knowing who you were and everything, it just I don't know, it makes me smile because I'm just like, yay, she's out there.
it took me a minute, but
No, it's
yeah.
just
The manner.
it's like a proud mama moment. I know I'm not your mama, but
I think a lot of it too is like I mentioned in the beginning that I was just always very like worried about being
judged
judged,
and stuff.
right? And
Yeah,
I think I've just gotten to the point where like now I just don't care.
yeah.
I don't care. If you want to judge me,
Just go ahead.
Go ahead. Look, it's not
go.
even your business
Yeah.
anymore.
If you
Yep.
want to
Just
judge
don't.
me, that's great. If you want to talk crap, I don't care. I'm
Yep.
doing my thing. You do yours. If you're like you've said this on social media, like if somebody is talking crap about you, they're looking at what you're doing for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mhm.
looking at what you're doing to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh,
And if you're doing something that's worthwhile enough for somebody else to look at what you're doing, then you're doing good,
you're doing good.
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because if they weren't talking, that's when you worry.
Right, right.
Be like, Dag, I need to step my game up because they ain't talking no more.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, like my feelings get hurt really easily, but I'll just like go cry about it in my car, like by myself.
Like, right. You'll have that moment to yourself. But let
Yeah.
somebody else see you, you'd be like, what the? Like
Like, no,
your
I was
mentality, right. You'll be like, whatever.
Yeah.
That is
But I think
awesome.
that was a large part of it was like I just kind of figured out that it really doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And I
yeah.
know like we all say this to people. Like I say this to my young students all the time. I'm sure you say it to your kids all the time, but it's like so hard to take that and like really apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
like a do as I say, not as I do. So I've been trying really hard to have like a healthier I think outlook on like my self-worth and like the things that I'm the things that I'm doing and the things that I've done.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
think, again, like good things have come out of this pandemic in ways that I wouldn't have expected. I think I really kind of reprioritized my life a little bit and kind of took stock of like what are the things that are really important to me and like what are the things that I can really be grateful for instead of focusing on all the things that I've lost because of it. And I think that's been probably the most healthy way for me personally to look at it and kind of get through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now we just need this whole thing to go away
We
so that we
really
can
do. But
do
part of
one
me,
in person.
I'll be honest, part of me is kind of like, I'm okay if it doesn't.
No, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
There's, I guess,
Fuck it.
right. There's like a select few places I would like to be open where maybe certain people just don't know it's open, and that can kind of like, it's like a private.
Yeah.
Right, like I want to see my parents. Like I miss my
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
I miss my parents, I miss my friends, but at the end
Yeah.
of the day, like I'm super grateful for technology.
Yeah.
Also, can we just talk for a minute? If this pandemic had happened when we were in elementary school, would we have just done packets for a year?
Yes.
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 Like we would have just done. I feel like I would have loved that. No
Oh my God.
projects, no oral presentations.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but
Packet
that
work.
that would have been cool. But I think a lot of us, because us 80s babies
We would have
already,
went crazy.
yeah, all and we already have, and I just think us 80s babies just have high anxiety, period. So if we
Yeah.
would have to go through this in elementary time and then not, we would
But
have
like,
been.
what even happened to us to give us this anxiety? Where does it come from?
It's something about the 80s babies. I don't know.
At one point we had I don't know if you get or got a chance to see it, but our very first episode, it actually had my father on it. He's probably watching this now, and we were talking about childhood traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And this part of the conversation now that we're having, I almost feel like it really is just a trauma that we've had based on, not to blame our parents or our grandparents, but something they've, you know what I mean, like gone through, and making sure that we were strictly like this or
Yeah.
strictly like that. And you
Yeah.
said it best too, Leslie, because it's another statement that was made. We were the BC, not heard, or do as I say, not as I do
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, personally, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, not to put blame on them, but
I mean, we were
I think
also
there's
the
a lot to
generation
do.
where you couldn't eat Halloween candy because it might have razors in it.
Listen, let me tell you how much my kids will go out here and get like Halloween candy, Easter candy, Valentine, all this candy, and it'll sit at the top of the refrigerator still. I just finally stopped getting it. I said,
Yeah.
I'll get all the candy you want, but you're not going to eat it all. You're after today. Y'all
That's
keep
it.
about like 5 pieces. That's it. I don't
Mhm.
know why I do that, but now that you mention that, I'm starting to think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that we would have. No.
I mean, I'm kind of glad that we're all like a little not adjusted. I find that reassuring.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because then again, there's no judgment in it. There's
Yeah.
no, I'm better than you, you're better. No, we're literally all in this same boat.
Mhm.
We're just all a little bit messed up, and that's fine.
Yeah, because if you think about it, and I said this before, I think Eb, it's like most of us are like in like the social work, the education
Yes.
field, or they're actually into music, like they do something in that or some type of helping field
Creative.
too. That's
Yeah.
what like, and I'm just like, it's just that era, so I don't know, but
Yeah,
Listen, it's just
yeah.
nice to know that we all can relate. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, we
yeah,
can all relate. We can all say we're a little crazy,
yeah,
and we're making it.
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
little validating. Wait, hey Lucy. Lucy. Hey, come here. Come here. Hey.
We have a visitor, guys.
See
I
you.
remember when Talaya brought a visitor a couple weeks ago. What was her name again, Talaya? I forgot her name already. How did I forget your It's your grandmom's name, but it's the middle name.
Bernice.
Bernice. That's what it
Oh,
Mhm.
well, this is Lucy.
Oh,
Miss
Lucy.
Luce.
Hi, Lucy.
Isn't
So
Lucy,
she
I'm home.
she looks. I feel like she looks big. She's
She
not.
looks big.
She
Yeah.
does a
10
little
pounds.
bit.
Yeah.
She's tiny. She's a 10-pound.
What type
Oh
of
no, she looks tiny as soon as you backed up
I know.
with her hind legs in the back just propped up.
She's a Maltese Jack Russell mix.
Okay.
And I think that she has also been like a very large part of like me staying sane during this whole thing.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I don't have kids, right? So like
Yeah.
having a living, breathing thing that I have to take care of, like I have to get out of bed. Like
Yeah.
I have to get up. I have to feed her. I have to go to
Something
the
to be
store and get
responsible
food.
for.
Yeah.
So I think that's been really good for me. And it's been I've had her for 7 years now.
Okay.
So she'll be 8 in June.
Oh, happy early birthday, Lucy.
Happy birthday.
We're gonna have to turn up for her.
I know, right? But like Lucy's been living her best life since pandemic because
I bet.
home all the time. So we sit here. She often sits with me. She sleeps in my lap when I teach my classes. She sleeps in my lap when I teach my lessons. Sometimes she wakes up and burps into the microphone. And then I have to be like, guys, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And you just hear this like.
I know those kids love it though. I know they love it.
Yeah, she used to come to the studio with me a lot.
Yeah.
So I think, she was a little mad at first that it was like
because it was closed down and stuff.
Just me.
Listen, they understand. They know
do.
what's going on. They understand. They have the feelings. Even if you're not feeling it right away, they probably like, hold up, something's not right.
But she's been just living her. I mean, we're a little codependent now. So I like try to leave sometimes just to like give her alone time.
Give her a break, yeah.
Because like the day is gonna come when I have to go back to work, So I'm trying to like wean her
off. Aww. Well, Leslie, listen, man, you are wonderful. You are amazing. Always have been. Before we go, if you want to like we like to, have you plug in your information. And we'll also make sure once we have the YouTube version of this out, I'll put it in there as well. But if you want to just tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, maybe even look you up for some type of lessons, because I saw a couple of people in the comments mentioning, you for piano lessons, and nobody mentioned the pole. I guess that was just me.
Well, I don't even do that. So
she said she could recommend.
But again,
I know. I'm just saying. I know that was just me.
I can hook you up. So you can find me on Facebook. My name is Leslie Godfrey, as you can see on the screen. And I think Ebony tagged me as well. On Instagram, my personal one is The Happiest Bamboo. It used to be Happy Bamboo Studio, and then I was like, oh, this is like my personal one, so maybe I should like change it. So I'm just The Happiest Bamboo. And then my business one is hey.sunshine.productions. And then if you want to check out, actually, I just combined all my websites. So if you go to heyssunshineproductions.com, you can either click on fitness or you can click on music, and it'll take you to those respective sites.
That's
okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Do you have like a 30-second song that you can close us out with?
Ooh, I like this.
The pressure's on. Well, okay.
Yo, we got a verses right here. Whoever ain't watching, they about to miss it.
Well, I guess we're just gonna play whatever this song is that one of my kids is learning. It says it's from Twilight, so here you go.
Oh, and I liked watching Twilight.
I have seen none of the Twilight movies.
I love piano. That's why I really love piano. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well,
That
thank you
was
so much for
great.
having me on, you guys.
No, girl, thank you. And thank you for
Course.
serenading us before you go. Like,
Oh, of course.
I was only about to do my whole, yes. All right. Having a moment. I might have to actually take some lessons. I ain't lying. Like,
I got you for all your fitness and music needs. I am here.
absolutely. Leslie, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. And you ladies, you all have a blessed
You
Ooh,
too.
have a
night. Go
great
ahead and watch
Have a
Twilight.
good night.
Bye.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.